Hey, baby.
Hey, welcome from the New York Bureau in the disco basement. Yes, and let me correct you. He never said drink disinfectant. That's a lie.
Sorry.
He said inject disinfectant. And
Right.
I'm
Right.
here to clear up your fake news, Stephanie,
Thank.
okay? He
Sorry.
he never said that. You don't understand that windmills cause cancer,
Right.
video games cause mass shootings, vaccines cause autism, Obama caused the annexation of Crimea, 5 million undocumented immigrants caused Hillary to get the popular vote.
Right.
Fake news causes all the Dow crashes,
See,
and slave owners caused an electoral college.
I have a new dream. I want John to get in the White House press corps because you
Oh,
thought of
yeah.
stuff that I had forgotten. If you could have, with a straight face yesterday, said, "Excuse me, sir, do the disinfectants also work on windmill cancer?"
Yes.
You would have
Hi,
asked that,
sir.
wouldn't you?
I'm working on the epitaph for all the mass graves. Is it you had better ratings than The Bachelor or better ratings in The Bachelor finale? We want to put that above the tombstones.
Yeah, exactly, right? Forget signing the stimulus checks. You can sign all the death certificates.
Oh, did you get your Trump check? Did you get your Trump check
No,
yet?
I did not.
Oh,
Or my small business loan. Yeah, it's
I got to
weird.
tell you, I never could have imagined that one day, Steffers, one day, the host of Celebrity Apprentice and his Treasury Secretary, the producer of the Lego Batman movie, would mail me a check of $1,200 of future me's money. It's so much better that I have this instead of future me, and it's signed by Trump. It's got his signature. I have Trump's signature on a check. I feel like a porn star.
You know, I feel like you are doubting the Labradoodle breeder's ability to handle this pandemic, John Fugelsang.
Oh no, no! I listen. These guys are innovators. Injecting disinfectant is the new cyanide and Kool-Aid that you drink from a tub. It's for the real believers. I get it. You don't understand. He's playing 3D chess.
Right. Now, okay. You were in New York. We're hearing horrifying numbers out here in California and in New York in
Oh,
terms of what the
yeah,
real numbers likely are, right? Because of lack of
yeah.
testing, 1 million New Yorkers have likely been exposed to the coronavirus. New York City's top official said yesterday, calling the 138,000 confirmed cases the tip of the iceberg. He also revealed New York currently has the capacity to do about 11,000 tests each day, far short of the
Yep.
hundreds of thousands of days a day that will be needed to suppress the disease and restart the city's economy. Health officials still believe it's likely half the city's population of more than 8.6 million will eventually be infected with the virus. We're hearing that out here, John. In LA County, the number could actually be 55 times higher than the recorded number so far of people, of those of us that have it, right? That are
Oh, it's
asymptomatic,
terrifying. I
that
mean,
are.
it looks like at least half of the carriers are asymptomatic. So even if you feel healthy, young folks, you don't know who you're passing it on to, and that's why. And here in New York, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, on the average day in New York City, EMTs remove 24 dead bodies from residences. Okay, on the average day, like ambulances have to take 24 dead people out of their homes in New York City. Last Tuesday, it was 253. So understand that the undercount is so significant, and I think we also have to start realizing that when people couldn't get into hospitals with influenza or pneumonia and they died, they should be listed as added to the death toll. I think people who are killed in domestic violence incidents during this quarantine need to be added to the death toll. I think EMTs who can't revive somebody because they've been told not to revive anybody on a house call should be added to the death toll. But we have to praise Donald Trump for doing so many tests because we really shouldn't do more tests. Like they're reopening Georgia today after testing less than 1/100th of the population. See, Trump is positive that he wants more testing. He just doesn't want more positive tests.
Yeah, yeah. John, what an extraordinary day yesterday where Elizabeth Warren tweeted, "I'm grateful to the nurses and frontline staff who took care of my brother, but it's hard to know there was no family to hold his hand or say I love you one more time, and no funeral for those of us who loved him to be able to hold each other close." She memorialized him as charming and funny, a natural leader with a smile that lit up everyone around him. Maxine Waters said on the House floor, "I'm going to take a moment to dedicate this legislation to my dear sister who is dying in a hospital in St. Louis, Missouri right now, infected with the coronavirus." We're all going to know somebody, or it's somebody we love at the end of
Yeah.
this, right?
I've known people who've died from it. I've known people who've recovered from it. I wish the media would really report the recovery rates, because the recovery rates are huge. I keep seeing the infection and death rates. I'd love to see the recovery rates. We need some encouragement here.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're number one in infections. We're number one in deaths. We're number one in leaders who blew it off and called it a hoax. We're number one in not being prepared. I mean, we need to suspend immigration from America at
Yes.
this point. Like, Mexico is sealing the border against us. It's just incredible. Every day, Steph, I hear you talk about on the show, it's a different deflection. You know, it's just, how can he survive the news cycle by making us talk about nonsense? We never even know if these new policies he rolls out, if he really means them, or if it's just another tennis ball that is shot from his mouth and the media will chase down. I mean, his mouth is a tennis ball launcher, and the media are the dog that chased down every single ball, down every single rabbit hole, because we can't hold him to task. We cannot hold him responsible for his lethal incompetence, because the media depends on him. He is the ratings crack. So they have to hold him accountable while still keeping him there, because they need a villain to get these record numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's so
But
dreadful.
this literally, this
Go ahead.
literally is life and death. I mean, we know
Literally.
stories of people that took hydroxychloroquine and died, right? We read the story today that he was going to flood New York with forget ventilators or tests, with hydroxychloroquine, because he and his buddies were going to profit off this dangerous drug that does not work. And then friends of ours that have lupus can't get their medication. I mean, it's
exactly. I mean, he's a pill pusher. His grandfather was a pimp. His father was a Klansman, and he's a drug pusher. That's all he is. I mean, you know, did you see him and Melania shoveling dirt into a tree this week for Earth Day? Like, the media covers that. They show the photo op. But I'm sorry, 24 hours earlier, Trump finalized his changes to the clean water rule, and he gutted Obama pollution protections for streams and wetlands. Like, your state, whoever you're listening, your state's now going to have to spend more of your money to treat drinking water and flood-proof rivers, and it was barely covered. Then he's going to have the Blue Angels come out. No tests.
yeah, that's super relaxing during this
You
time.
can test every American. Test every American 3 times. It won't cost $2 trillion. You could do the testing, and that would be safe. That's what a leader would do.
Yeah.
We don't have a leader. We have a boss. So now you have the Blue Angels that are going to come out, $60,000 a pop from taxpayer money.
Just what our rattled nerves need. Fighter jets overhead.
Operation Come Together, get sick, and die for something that costs millions and helps nobody. Thank you, Mr. Trump. His followers can't claim to not be dumb anymore. They can't play dumb about his dumb. And the scariest thing is not how dumb Trump is, but that about 60 million Americans can see that and not recognize that it's dumb.
Yeah. Speaking of distractions, I thought I was, because I'd like, wow, how is Fox going to distract from that yesterday? Fox News has revived an 8-year-old story about Osama bin Laden, about a plot he had to assassinate Barack Obama because he wanted Biden to be president because he thought he was totally unprepared for the job.
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
because I super care what Osama bin Laden said before Obama put a bullet in his eye and buried him in the bottom of the ocean. I'm like, is this a good thing?
You know how dumb this argument is? You know how dumb this argument? Like, my favorite thing about Joe Biden is how I'm defending Joe Biden against stupid lies every single day. That's my favorite thing about Joe Biden.
Yes, Joe Biden, don't
Joe
drink
Biden.
bleach. The don't drink bleach president.
Here's the deal about Joe Biden, okay? Everything bad about Joe Biden can be true, and he's still a better choice, drunk and on fire and bleeding out of both eyes. I will take the guy who lied about stuff 20 years ago over the guy who's lying about everything right now. If that's the choice, I know a lot of Democrats are like, waiter, you brought us a Biden, but we really would have rather had a Cuomo. I get it, but the deal is, if Biden is the nominee, he will be the most liberal Democratic nominee.
Barack Obama just said that. He would be the most progressive nominee we've ever had.
And by the way, think about all the racists we have in this country. And yet Barack Obama was never assassinated. You know why? Because racists are terrified of President Biden.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the campaign.
Seriously, I'm like, that's all they have. An 8-year-old story that Osama bin Laden didn't like Joe Biden. I'm like, oh, well, good. Right? I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so here's the thing. Mitch McConnell, as you know, is odious. And of course is partisan, making this partisan and political as he does everything. But wow, I was going to say, if we were going to do that, these stories, the states that helped Trump win see the biggest job losses. Battleground states that handed Trump the presidency 4 years ago are seeing higher than average layoffs amid the economic downturn. Michigan, right, 1 in 4 workers applied for unemployment. Pennsylvania, nearly 1/4 of the workforce. Ohio is seeing more than 17% of workers filing jobless claims. In Florida, by the way, that Rick Scott designed that system to suck, is
Yes, it
weirdly
did.
sucking, and nobody can get right. It's already difficult enough to
Oh,
get unemployment. Florida,
and he
they're
took time
lined
out
up.
from trying.
Oh, by
He
the way, I
took
was going
time
to
out
say,
from trying to
speaking of
kill Harry Potter to do that law.
what's that?
He took time out from trying to kill Harry Potter to have
Okay,
that policy.
thank you, thank you. And then
Sorry,
this
what's
one
that?
study: elderly Trump voters dying of coronavirus could cost him in November. An academic journal projects that the deaths of 65 and over Republican voters in several swing states will far exceed those of Democrats. Mass casualties could upend the political landscape in battleground states and shift. This is what, like,
Yep.
what did Jody say Tuesday? Was so smart. She said, we care more about his voters than he does. I mean, he's
We
literally
do.
killing his voters. And
By the way, tell this to your Trump-supporting loved ones and your neighbor who can't spell "your" and all the wallpaper bald eagle fetish guys you know. People calling out a president for lying to you during a pandemic are fighting harder for your life than a president who's lying to you during a pandemic. And these MAGA people, these conservatives, have to be reminded every day that Donald Trump lied to you and everyone you love dozens of times about a plague. And by the way, you're not going to be able to go out on May 1st. Like you weren't able to go out on Easter Sunday.
yeah,
Trump keeps talking this way. I keep telling everyone, Trump doesn't have a magic wand. Melania has been through several, but Trump does not have one.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I was thinking when they were digging, they should go help dig the mass graves in New York. Yeah, that's what they.
It's
If you're gonna be,
incredible.
if you're gonna want to
It's just
help and you
incredible.
want to dig, I'm just saying. Yeah, do you want to
I
sign?
mean, in New York, you hear the sirens all day long. If you're outside in the daytime, just stop and listen, and you will hear ambulances in the distance still. Today's the day we're hitting 50,000.
Yeah,
Today's the day that the death toll is rising. I mean, 2 days ago, when we woke up, the death toll was at 44,000. By that night, it was 47,000. That was the day that Trump tweeted bragging that we're starting to reopen America. I mean, future
yes,
historians, they're going to wonder how we could be so stupid. I'm sorry, but the next president has to be Mike Pence. If we have the 25th Amendment, this guy.
yeah.
It's just we have to talk about it every day. UV
And
light
yesterday,
in your lungs, UV light in your like he doesn't know how this virus replicates yet in your lung. Steph, I swallowed my Clean Phone Pro last night just to be safe.
You're a
swallowed
national treasure. Here, look, I'm going to put this right into you. I'm going to put this.
No.
Yes,
I have windmill
we need
cancer.
you,
I
John.
have windmill cancer. No.
Yeah, this is really, every day when you think we're comedians, so I know that's the funny one, like, oh, ha, 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 the disinfectants and whatever, but how many people are going to die because they're, like, heard that, like people died of taking hydroxychloroquine, right?
They died from it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when you have to have Lysol saying, please don't ingest our product, don't
Yes.
do what the president says. The head of our government is also the head of the anti-government propaganda. Like he's respect quarantine in the streets and blow off the quarantine in the sheets kind of president.
Yeah. Someone on Twitter had an amazing idea about doing a virtual Sexy Liberal tour.
Heard that.
We'll have to think about that. In the meantime, there is the Sanity-Cast on the Sexy Liberal Podcast Network by John
Brand new one
Fugelsang.
went up this morning.
Yes, very exciting.
When I want to tell my jokes and get no laughs, I have family. Thank you.
Love
yes,
you, John.
do check out the Sanity-Cast. And hey, let's hear it for the Supreme Court, by the way, that they're voting remotely to not deny us the right to ever vote remotely.
Yeah.
These are the times we're in.
Those are heroes. Yeah. All right. Love you, John. Bye. See ya.